What is going on, everybody? It is so good to be back after a little holiday break here on the channel, and we are back with another first look film breakdown for another potential first round draft prospect at quarterback in the 2024 draft, Michael Penix Jr., who, like Bo Nix, like Jaden Daniels, is having an incredible fifth season in college football and is making a case to be a first round pick. What's also cool about Michael Penix and the timing of this video is, as I've heard, he's got a little bit of a big game coming up here on Monday, playoff game against Texas. So not only are we going to get to see some of his strengths, what we might expect, but also what are some of those weaknesses in his game that he can look to improve upon in the college football playoffs and potentially solidify his position in this draft. So it's going to be a really fun one. If you could, before we get started, please take just a second to hit that like button. It really does help me out. Also, subscribe. We've got so much draft content here as we head into the new year here. I'm really trying to make a push to get to 100,000 subscribers, get that silver play button on the wall behind us here come draft day. So come join me for the ride, and I hope you enjoy the video. Let's get into it. And the first game we're going to look at is his first matchup against Oregon. And by the way, he's actually a sixth-year player, so he's going to be a much older prospect, which is definitely something we're going to want to consider. First play on tape here is just first and 15 after a penalty. Trying not to stay too far behind the chains. They're just running a little spot type of concept over here, maybe trying to create a rub on this running back to the outside, but just getting the ball out. Not a whole lot to see here on the first play. So then second and 13, they're just going to go RPO here. The ball gets deflected, which is going to set up a third and 13 for Washington. Nothing on Penix here. I agree with the decision to pull this and throw it. You got plenty of leverage to the outside here. You're going to get a little stop route here, and then these guys are kind of blocking. So clear RPO action with the pullers and the back going. And just unfortunate that thing gets deflected. A good job by the defense to put Washington in a tough situation for this third and 13. And let's see what happens here. We got a 7-man protection, 2 men running deep. All right, let's break this one down. Ultimately, just not a very good job by Washington's offense at all. Just to begin with, you're running a 7-man protection against a 5-man rush that they don't pick up particularly well. You're running a 2-man deep concept into, by the way, quarters coverage, where these guys are dropping in to cover 4. So you've got 4-on-2 on the back end, winning. Odunze is going to release inside towards the leverage defender. I'd much rather see him release outside here. I don't know if that is a scheme decision or Odunze's decision, but really no chance for Penix here. Not really any escape lanes. He ends up ultimately, I think, trying to fit the check down in here. You can see his head last second looks to the check down. He gets hit while he's thrown. That can lead to turnovers at the next level. First play of the game, or first drive of the game, you might say, hey, let's just eat this play, live to see another day. But ultimately, just, not a whole lot for Penix to do on this first possession. Okay, second and short on our next possession. I'm actually not a big fan of this play. So we got a spread concept here. And as you play it, what's interesting to me is it's almost like they know exactly where the ball is going to go. This guy's running a switch release and a comebacker, and then this guy's just going to run a little delayed out. This guy's like running a clear out, and then this guy is the other option doing another kind of out route on the backside. So to me, what this is saying is read your pre-snap leverage, make a quick decision on one of these out routes, because as we play this, I want you to watch this receiver and this receiver right here. They aren't really running these routes as if they're going to get the ball at all. So to me, this is a very much predetermined, simple second down, almost a screen type of decision. And I don't like the hesitation by Penix here. He waits until the receiver is almost 3 steps into his route before this ball's out. Get that ball out on the money right here, especially on a simple read type of concept right here. Again, this guy's not really running a route. This guy's not really running a route. This guy's not really running a route. It's supposed to be a spread concept. Read this thing out quickly. I honestly think Penix is just slow on this one and inaccurate. So I think I'm going to be critical of him on this one. Puts his team into a third down situation instead of staying ahead of the chains and getting a first down. But third down, we get the free play. Love using the cadence. Being a field general here, and then just nice touch, free play lob out there. That's a Dunze making a play here. Let's look at the ball placement here. I mean, he knows where he's going the second. That's a good outside leverage throw. Beautiful catch by the receiver. I mean, yeah, man, that works. Not a ton of, I mean, he's throwing that with arc for a reason, but not a ton of velocity on the arm there. Just to note, I'm sure he's going to have plenty of other opportunities to let it rip and show us what a full velocity fastball can look like for him. Then our next play here is a beautiful quarters beaters by Washington. Penix drops a dime for a touchdown here, but I love the play design here. You get the pre-snap motion and basically just a total play fake to this side of the field. You're going to have Oregon dropping into cover 4, as they like to do quite a lot. And Washington here is going to be running double posts, which is a classic quarters beaters. You're trying to draw this man in and then have this guy sneak out the back end where you can actually fairly easily get over the top of quarters coverage here. And Penix kind of just knows he's getting the right coverage here. And again, it all plays out perfectly. Now, I don't love the footwork. He makes it work. Again, not a ton of velocity on that fastball. Honestly, based on what I'd heard, I was expecting to see a little bit more zip on his ball. It's not that that's moving slow or that that's not an NFL arm, but I had kind of heard that this guy's got a cannon. I don't necessarily see, like anything close to an elite arm at the NFL level. And also, just the mechanics here are a little bit wonky. Now, it's obviously an accurate throw, so it's tough to balance these things. But you usually want to step into your throw. I mean, his foot's pointing on this line, and the ball's going on this line, so he's kind of working against his body. And honestly, that's probably hurting his ball velocity a little bit. So just a little bit of a mechanical flaw there to note. But obviously, knowing the coverage, dropping a dime, you're going to grade out pretty well and check a lot of boxes on that play. Next possession, midfield, first down. Good field position after a nice screen pass the play before. Look, not a whole lot to say here. You're not going to complete a lot of passes. I don't care if it's high school, Pac-12, NFL. You're not going to complete a lot of passes, running two-man route concepts with 9-man protections, and the pressure gets in after 2 seconds. That one, to me, just needs to be schemed up, blocked up better, whatever, you name it. That's just not a whole lot for Penix to do. It's basically a safe throwaway here by him. Before we get to our next play here, I got to tell you guys, Underdog Fantasy is changing the game when it comes to watching and enjoying not just fantasy football, but real football overall. Whether it's a crummy Thursday night game between the Browns and the Jets, or a college football bowl game, or a heavyweight battle between NFL greats, Underdog's Pick'em contest just gets you so much more into the game, and you can get up to 20 times your entry. Those are $2 or $3 entries to pay for your lunch, pay for your dinner. Maybe you're a Panthers fan and that just paid for 8 tickets to the game. I don't know. But these contests are stringing together player slips, picking player stats, anything from passing yards to rushing yards to fantasy points. If you hit on all your picks, again, that is 20 times your entry, and it just gets you to see these games through to the end as well, which is worth your price of admission, even if you lose. So I have loved Underdog Fantasy. It has been a lifesaver for all of these crummy primetime games between backup quarterbacks that I'm getting sick of, but at least I can watch them and still enjoy them thanks to Underdog Fantasy, and I think you guys will enjoy it too. So right now, if you sign up using promo code TFG at Underdog Fantasy, they will match up to $100 on your first deposit. That is next season's worth of pick'ems, or maybe you're a big MLB fan and you can have a whole MLB season's worth of pick'ems. The possibilities are endless at Underdog Fantasy. Go check it out, and let's get back to the video. All right, next play here. Washington's going to spread it out and run inverted stick out of empty. So normally an empty stick, you got the outside receiver going deep, this guy running an out route, and then this receiver is going to run an option route, and then either sit down against zone or break out against zone. And, just pre-snap looking at this, you have a pretty damn good feeling that you're going to throw to this guy right here because either the edge rusher's picking him up, which that's a mismatch. The safety's going to have to come down from 10 yards off, or this linebacker right here is going to be picking him up. So you probably have a pretty good feeling that this is where the ball is going to go. And, as I play it here, the right tackle gets beat. The deep release gets picked up, like pressed towards the sideline here. The deep out or just the out route would be a pretty tough throw, with that angle. And even the stick here gets picked up pretty well. So, this isn't exactly running quick game on rookie mode here for Michael Penix, but I think you can make a pretty strong argument that he's doing the same thing that he did on that out route earlier, where he is just waiting to see it kind of before he pulls the trigger. Now, the right tackle gets beat. Again, 3-man rush. You give up the quick pressure. Like, Washington's O-line is not having a good day so far today, and he ends up getting the completion. I'm not saying this is a negative play or anything, but I would not mind to see a potential first-round quarterback prospect on a very basic concept get that ball out now. Get that ball out now, like right here. Make it a little bit easier on the wide receiver. Make it easier on yourself. Just because in case someone wins quickly, you're making the throw difficult. Now, at the same time, when you watch it from this angle, nice little sidearm throw. It's the perfect ball placement. Shows a lot of zip on that ball. There's some of the piss missile, right? Zinger. Gets it in there. So this is a good play from Michael Penix with some notes to look out for in other departments. So our next play is 3rd and 6, and there's some good, some bad to talk about here. Because on one hand, we move the sticks. We throw the ball here before the receiver begins his break. Ball's out. Receiver turns around. It's on time. It's accurate. Good velocity. There's a lot to like from Penix here. But there is just a note here that I don't think Penix is reading the disguised coverage here. And this is just my opinion, but Oregon showing pre-snap cover 3, Washington running an out and up concept with one of these guys breaking on the crosser. And, I get why he ends up throwing this ball because he thinks this is cover 3. He thinks this guy's running deep with the clear out route. And then he thinks pre-snap, all right, whatever we get, this guy can't converge on this stop route right here. So I understand why he throws the ball, but Oregon actually rotates into a inverted cover 2 here. This guy rotates deep. This guy rotates deep. This guy's actually sitting at the sticks, and then this guy's going to try to come over and play anything in that soft zone right there. So, at the college level, you can easily get away with this, reading the leverage of the defenders. But, at the NFL level, this could be, a really good corner that's playing this a yard tighter, and he breaks on that thing, and it's a pick 6. I'm not saying that would necessarily happen or that this is a downside. What I'm noting here is that he's really not reading these safeties at all. Look at his eyes. They go straight to the receivers. He's reading the concept, not the coverage. And, it is what it is. A lot of quarterbacks get themselves in trouble at the NFL level without reading safeties. I'm not saying Penix can't do it. I'm saying he's not doing it here. And that's it. This next play is a beautiful touchdown from Penix. Very similar in a lot of ways to the last touchdown we saw, where it is the perfect play call and perfect execution by Penix against Oregon's kind of predictable cover 4 at this point. And this is a great example of why you don't always want to run cover 4 press because it can very quickly bust your coverages on the back end. So you're going to have quarters here, quarters and quarters with these guys playing kind of the curl flats here. And it's a beautiful concept from Washington where they're going to have a fake screen and go. And if you get quarters, this is going to work because this guy's going to take him. This guy's going to react to both the screen fake element going on, and he's responsible for number 2. So you see how this thing plays out. This safety has eyes on number 2. This guy's got number 1. You get the fake screen element, and Penix sees it, pulls the trigger. Beautiful throw. I mean, the deep ball placement, weird mechanics or not, mechanics are much better on that one. The deep ball placement has been fantastic in this game. That is very much not in question. And again, you love just the understanding of the concept, knowing you've got the right coverage and the confidence to pull the trigger with, pretty good anticipation and timing. And, of course, the accuracy. Then we've got a second down here. Oregon's been using a lot of cover 2 on these earlier downs, so Washington just dials up a little corner strike here. So you're going to have Oregon sitting here. This guy's going to rotate deep. This guy's sitting in here. Now, this side of the field, I think it's cover 6 ultimately. I think you got quarters on this side of the field. But Washington's going to just run a classic corner strike concept with the deep corner and an out route where you're just trying to basically read the leverage of this corner. So, the read is correct. Oregon covers this up pretty well. And the throw, I think, was pretty much where Penix had to put it here, and I think it's on time. Like, I don't think you can throw it with too much more anticipation, given where these guys are at. So I think the read, the throw, the placement is just fine. The only note that I have at this point, and we obviously have an incompletion, it's not the end of the world, is we have yet to see really any second read stuff or any improvisational stuff at all. It's been very much, we're playing on time, we're firing it, and if it's not there, we're basically throwing it in a safe throwaway type of way, and that's pretty much all we've seen so far. So that's just a note, something to look for moving forward. Okay, third down. We end up converting this against the blitz. I like the quick decision from Penix. Replacing the blitz, sees that linebacker coming, understands he's got a couple of in-breaking routes. You got a great beater on against this blitz, and on time, good velocity. Pretty bad defense from Oregon here. Just you weren't putting your defense in a position to succeed, but Penix makes you pay for it. And if nothing else, he's shown that when he's got the right receiver open, he'll hit you, and he does it there. The mechanics are just so weird, though. It's like he's working against his body. I can't say it's almost Phillip Rivers-esque the way the ball kind of releases. We got quick game again on second down. Good job reading the leverage. Gets the ball to the outside this time. I think he's starting to put this ball velocity on display a little bit, at least on these short to intermediate throws. Starting to see some of that high-end arm talent. That wasn't the best camera shot of it, but I had heard that this guy's got a cannon, and I think we've seen it on some of these shorter throws where he can really rip it into some nice windows and get it out on the perimeter quickly, which is really valuable. That helps set up the run after catch here from Odunze. The ball getting in his hands so quickly, he's able to turn around and square this guy up instead of, maybe he catches this ball and the defender's right there ready to hit him, right? So that's where, arm talent can really make a difference, especially on these cross-field throws. They're playing off coverage to the field side because a lot of college quarterbacks can't get the ball in this guy's hands so quickly. So there's some of the traits and just kind of quick game processing on display there from Penix. Next, we've got a classic mesh concept. We've got double crossers. We've got a sit route in the middle. And then this guy's running kind of an out and up wheel route type of situation. And this is the first time Penix gets to his second read. Now, you might say, why doesn't he throw that kind of what looks like his first read? if this was an out route, I would say, yes, that should be thrown. But he knows this receiver is running a out and up. I would love if there was a choice aspect to this where he could just throw the quick out if it's that open. But I understand why the ball was not thrown there, because this guy is going to turn and run based on his route. So I get it. He comes off of it, rightfully so. I don't think you throw that wheel route with the defender kind of playing over the top. And he sees all this space. He knows that crosser's about to come wide open against what turns into man coverage here. So it's a good read, good execution, all within structure. And the throw was accurate. So literally the second I said we haven't seen him get to a second read, he does it on back-to-back plays. Tends to be how things go. But, good play from Penix. Very similar type of concept here where you got the double crossers going. It's not true mesh, but does a really good job. Goes 1, 2, 3, gets all the way over to his check down. Full field progression. You can't slap the first read QB on him really anymore. I mean, very comfortable doing that. Just the other angle will show you the head movement, getting through it. The clock was moving at the pace you would expect here, especially from, six-year college football player. You would hope to see that, but not everybody gets there either. Then, hey, we're going to reward you with a free touchdown here. Defense almost made a play on that, but yeah, that's the third passing touchdown. So this is a pretty good game now. It's 22-18, 2-minute warning basically. And this is a good kind of like NFL type of look here. Kind of a lot going on. You've got a inverted cover 2 from Oregon. And then Washington here is running, basically just spacing this whole thing out with the check down underneath. And for me, I think what Penix is checking here, expecting some form of too high structure, he's just checking this safety and the linebackers pre-snap. This angle will show you better to make sure that they don't, muddy this part of the field. Like, as long as these guys didn't burst downfield, he knew he was going to be basically reading out these 3 elements. And he does that. Now, it takes just a split second to diagnose everything, because this linebacker does fly out to the flat to take the swing route. But I think his timing on this is perfectly fine. He's getting through his progression. The ball is out, as the receiver's completing his break, and it gets deflected. I think that's perfectly fine for a potential first-round quarterback prospect on this play. Does Tom Brady get this ball out now? And, the ball gets completed because the defender didn't have an extra second to get to the QB and the spacing's better? Yeah, probably. But you're not looking to draft Tom Brady when you take Michael Penix, I don't think. Then this next play, we got double stack. We're running just Hank, which is going to be stop routes, like across the board. And look, I know this one's going to sound nitpicky, but I think this ball is out slow. When you're running a simpler concept like this, I think it's fair to say you're on your drop, you're making your decision. And again, the ball isn't thrown until the receiver has completed his stop. Now, he gets the completion, he gets the job done. But you can be nitpicky with first-round quarterbacks. And the difference, if you look at this angle, there's that extra little half crow step right there. Like, I want to see him hit the top of his drop, and he's firing. But you can see that extra little crow step, I think, can be cut out of his game. I think we can get there with Penix, but he is an older prospect. So it's like, is it going to come at the next level? And the reason I bring this up is that little crow step is the difference between he has the ball now and he's still in the process of catching it. He could already have that ball. He's turning around, looking to make this guy miss, and then God knows what happens. But instead, sorry for the choppiness, but instead he's, still turning around, getting hit, and you're actually short of the sticks. Like, the margins between these quarterbacks aren't that wide, and I do think this is just a tick slow on that. And it's actually very convenient that I brought up that criticism, because third down, you get an early snap, busted play. Now, I like that Penix does something with that, though that was questionable throwaway. Could argue that was in the realm of grounding, but anyway, you get a broken play, and then on 4th and 1, he doesn't, or barely completes the pass here. But, I mean, they almost got themselves in trouble. I mean, what do they end up ruling here? They give him the first down, I guess. But you know what I'm saying? Like, that little extra hitch on that play before was almost the difference in them, giving Oregon a short field and maybe losing this game. I don't know. Maybe that's way over dramatic, but it did come down to that. But let's get to that 4th down play and see that a little bit more. And, honestly, it's just not a very good throw. The other angle shows it's just the footwork is all messed up. To be fair, he's rolling opposite of his throwing hand, but if you're going to throw with wonky footwork, which he does, he leaves this one short, and it gets completed. He barely gets it there, gets the job done. But, I mean, how many times do you see receivers screw this catch up? It's a good job by the tight end to get his hands under that. Dangerous. I don't love it. But we live to see another day, so 1st down. We've got a nice deep drop action here. A little NFL-style drop back, 2-minute drill type of stuff. Just clunky. Ends up, either getting sacked or throwing this ball away, but I just don't think we see a natural playmaker in Penix. He's very rigid. I don't think he has very good core balance, good just core fundamental athleticism. Like you just see he's not a quick twitch guy to get out of there, extend the play. Just kind of awkward going to the ground. Kind of needs to be in structure from what I can see so far. Now, I'm not saying there was something he should have done differently here, but you also draft guys to create offense when there's nothing there, and there's nothing there on this play. So it seemed to me they did rule that he was sacked on that play, so we got 2nd and 15, and we're running pretty similar concept to what we've seen before with these kind of double stoppers. We get the interception. Not going to put this one on Penix. The receiver fell down. Just shit luck, right? Receiver falls down. Hard to know if it would have been completed or what, but it sure as hell is not what Penix was expecting. Trying to run a comebacker there. Receiver falls down. It goes right to the corner. Shit happens. 3rd quarter now, and Oregon showing single high, pre-snap, closed middle of the field, so anticipating some form of maybe cover 3 or cover 1 here. And Washington finally gets a chance to kind of get a little back shoulder action going here, and that's where Penix is going to look here. He's going to take his drop. Doesn't really look off the safety there, does he? No, doesn't really look at the safety, which is a little bit worrying. But anyway, the pre-snap read is correct, throws the back shoulder, and it's an accurate ball in my opinion. I think they end up drawing the pass interference here, so, good pre-snap decision-making here. Definitely a flag. Hard to know exactly what he's doing with his eyes. He might be kind of glancing, just to make sure this guy doesn't look over. But typically, you'll see these quarterbacks kind of on their way, not stare straight at where they're going. His eyes are very clearly right there. Usually, quarterbacks as they drop, you prefer to see them looking more towards the safeties. Just an observation, but the read ends up being correct. I think the throw and the timing are just fine. Then we end up in 3rd down and just getting aggressive here, taking a shot one-on-one to the outside. Rome Odunze making a play. This to me is much more about Odunze showing some ball-winning ability, but it's nice touch. Again, the ball placement from Penix, accuracy has been far from an issue to this point. He's throwing that kind of back shoulder fade type of throw. It's a beautiful throw. Beautiful catch. Touchdown. Not a ton in the department of reading the defense or making tough decisions or anything like that, but it's not always about that. Next drive, Getting a little aggressive here, backed up, first down. We're taking a deep shot. Receiver does not get a step there. Looking for his number one wide receiver, who, by the way, has not created a ton of deep separation in this game. From Penix's perspective, this comes back to a lot of what we said earlier, where he's, first read, not there, just electing for the safe throwaway, living to see another day. Ultimately, it's not the end of the world. It just is what is potentially going to lead to him getting more of that sort of like classic system quarterback tag, right? There's no, moving in the pocket. There's no progressing over to this back shoulder that if he, at this point, had made the decision that this is covered up, he may have been able to hitch over to his second read. It's just very much, is the first read there? No. I'm going to sail this thing deep. Maybe I get a flag. Maybe my receiver makes a play. Probably we just live for second down. It's not a negative on him, but it is a missed opportunity to gain a positive on him, if that makes sense. All right, second down. I'm going to be critical of this one here. I'll let it play out, let you see what happens here, but people are going to say, "Oh, you're being too negative on Penix." Like, no, I'm just being realistic. We're talking about a guy that might be drafted in the first round. I see some issues here, so we end up getting cover 3 press. This is going to play out as like a deep cover 3, deep cover 3, deep cover 3, and then these guys are going to be sitting in those, curl flat areas. Washington is running, out, and not true out and ups, but they're reading these out routes, as we've seen in this game. And 2 notes on Penix. Number 1, just very much to me, flat-footed, staring down a read. I like to refer back to Bruce Arians' book, where he talks about you want passers, not throwers of the football. You want guys that throw the ball with anticipation. And seldom have we seen him kind of get this ball out now, before the break, when the guy is going to create separation. He's waiting till he sees him open to throw this thing, let alone he doesn't at any point say, you know what, I liked this pre-snap, but I don't love it post-snap. And say, all right, let's take a hitch and let's see what's going on over here. And if he just does that, he's got way better options on the play. It just, to me, maybe this is unfair, but this to me is the type of stuff that backup quarterbacks often look like at the next level. He's staring down the read. He's kind of fading away from the pressure. He's not moving. I really just, I'm being honest, don't love what I see here. So third down, and they're running 4 stop routes, basically, with the underneath check down. And Oregon staying in cover 3 here. They cover it up well. But, again, adding nothing to the play here. And I see a guy that is fairly uncomfortable in the pocket as the play goes on, which is a huge red flag for me. Like, there's nothing open, and I don't think he has a very comfortable feel for what he wants to do in this situation. And he ends up just kind of sailing it, living for the punt. He's not testing any tight windows. What I would really like to see him here is just step up. Step up in the pocket. You've got a clean pocket. There's no reason to panic in this situation and throw the ball away and waste the play. These last 2 plays to me look like a backup quarterback in the NFL, and that's just my honest opinion. And in these shootouts, that matters. Like, it's 29-26 now. But we're back at it. Nice little scheme play here. I like the play call. They motion out of the backfield here to kind of draw the attention this way, thinking, okay, is this a screen? Are we reading the left side? Nope. Just like the pre-snap leverage here. You got one defender trying to get to the flat, but a stop route here that can kind of bump them. The swing route, first down, very easy, schemed up, quick completion for Penix. Sets up, 2nd and 4. Next play. This is the same exact play, same coverage that they got the touchdown on earlier, and I get why Penix throws this. It converted a touchdown earlier. To be fair, Odunze doesn't clear this. off of the stack formation, good coverage, but he doesn't get that step of separation that Penix is hoping that he gets. This is a great example of why quarterback accuracy metrics are tough, because they're so dependent on the wide receiver getting open. If the wide receiver wins here, this ends up being an accurate throw. Instead, that's going to go down as an inaccurate overthrow if you're charting this. Yet again, though, there's no conscious decision to say, actually, you know what? That's not a high percentage throw. I'm not under pressure. This is a clean pocket. Let's see what's going on the other side of the field. All he had to do was take a little hitch and see this. You know what I'm saying? Really not all that impressed at this moment. I'm trying to stay positive here. I really am. But I'm also trying to stay honest. So we're back to third down. We're running mesh. Right? We got a kind of a delayed crosser, a crosser. We're working these guys towards the sideline, and then this guy's going to run that stop route, which becomes underrated on plays like this when those crossers get covered up. So he's reading, his first read, he's looking out here, same as when they ran mesh earlier. He's looking out here. If this guy plays this hard, you're going to get that wheel route, which could have been done the same on this side as well. It's almost a completely symmetric play design here. But he doesn't throw it, which I get. And then he goes to his crossers, this exact same read progression we saw earlier, but it's not open. It's not open, and he's not under pressure yet. Right? He's still not under pressure. He throws it. Again, there's no adding to the play here. It's either you're open and I'm going to hit you, or we're just going to punt. And it's probably not something I'm drafting in the first round. You can have a pocket passer, but I want to see the guy, okay, it's not open. Let's hitch back to the open space in the pocket, and let's hit the next progression in the play when you get zone coverage, which is going to be that stop route, which, if thrown with anticipation, could have been completed right there. And even like Mac Jones was really good at that coming out. Would be, they'd run mesh, but he would move to the open space and not just give up on the play when things were covered up. So Washington's actually losing now after, in my opinion, Penix has not played well these last two possessions here. Let's see how he finishes this game. Good play design, getting that deep bender, which we haven't seen a ton of in this game, but this is a good play design against cover 6 here. This side of the field is going to be playing into cover 2, and this side is playing cover 4, so that is a big old cover 6. But yeah, we've got a middle of the field read here. He sees all of the open space. He's just making sure that this isn't a buzz like cover 3 type of situation to cut this off. Otherwise, these safeties were going to have a hard time making this play, or to make sure that this linebacker doesn't drop deep. But yeah, good middle of the field read, waits for it, throws it, trying to stay positive here. Gets the job done. That is a first read kind of scheme completion there from Penix. If you want a positive note as well, the accuracy continues to be tremendous by him. Next play, Oregon's going to mix it up and bring the heat here. They end up rushing 6, dropping 5 into coverage. Not the best kind of coverage beater here against the blitz. Oregon gets them at a good time. So this is a tough play for Penix. I don't want to be overly critical. But again, just not a lot of extension to this thing. He's waiting for, these guys are kind of running in and sit routes. You got a check down, you got a deep comebacker. He was going to be in a tough spot from the get-go with this play call. I think he's mostly just saying, yeah, I'm gonna just throw this one where no one can get it. Likewise, right? Like very, very consistent with what we've said. When the scheme's not there, he's not saying, oh crap, blitz is on coming from this side, but there's space over here. Let's roll out. Honestly, if he decides to roll away from the blitz here, he's got a check down. He's got a crosser coming open. He doesn't do that. He doesn't move. You just got to know that when you take him. This guy, and I'm assuming that it doesn't change in other games, but That's why we watch more than one game. But at this point in time, I think you're assuming this guy is not going to create for your offense. And I think this is a pretty good example of that. It's not that this is a negative play. It's just a missed opportunity for the chance to add a positive. 3rd and 8 now, huge stakes. And this is either the best damn play that we've seen from any of these quarterbacks or the luckiest one. I mean, he's either throwing this stop route, which against the blitz with bad pass protection against cover 4, when this guy breaks this way, let's try to get less of a fuzzy picture here. That's a little bit better. But when this guy breaks, he's either making a decision, all right, we're putting this on time on this stop route. He's either throwing that, which is incredible processing, or he's about to get drilled and he's hitting his release underneath and he overthrows this under pressure, and it just happens to go to the stop route. I wish I knew who his intended target was here. I don't know. Either one are rational. So it's difficult to take too much away from this individual play. Because, again, this could either be insanely lucky, where this ball could have been overthrown, they punt and lose this game, or this was an incredible read. You guys tell me in the chat who you think he was throwing this football to. I'll show you the other helmet angle one more time there. Tough call. It really is a tough call. But next play, we're trying to get another one of these slot fades from these stack alignments, which Oregon's had a hard time kind of defending in this game, or at least they've been giving them good looks there. But they kind of do it delayed here. Receiver just doesn't win, but he does end up drawing the foul. Penix does his job on this play. I think he puts that ball where it should be. He has to get the ball out. Pressure's getting in. Not a whole lot to add on Penix on that front. They end up getting the flag. But the receiver did not create a ton of separation. And the DB probably didn't need to hold there. So 2nd down, they're going to run an RPO here. They're going to motion Odunze into kind of a back shoulder wheel route. This guy's going to clear this guy out. And obviously with all these numbers here, it's a good decision as I play it for Penix to keep this and pull the trigger. But then he hesitates. And I guess he didn't like that the safety, they weren't expecting this safety to key in on this so well. Maybe they were thinking one of these guys would rotate over and help defend it. I still think he can rip that to his back shoulder on 2nd down. I kind of get why he keeps it. Would love to hear his explanation. Was he trying to not get his wide receiver 1 killed, which I understand. But you see right here, he holds it, pulls it back, begins throwing it. I'm just trying to play this out in my mind. Could have been released. Ball's here, ball's here, ball's here. It's close. It's close. I don't want to be overly critical on it. I like that he avoids a negative. So I don't want to say a whole lot more. I could go either way on that. It does bring us to 3rd down. Oregon rotates into single high. And just a bit overthrown, but the pressure gets in. 4-man rush. I actually think it's a pretty high-level read from Penix, to be honest. You've got rotating safeties. This guy clears out into single high, which opens up that slot fade. Let's look at where his eyes are after the snap. He's kind of reading that safety. Just, really almost impossible throw. I'm not gonna bang on him because his O-line got worked, and you've got a receiver running a delayed fade slot, and you don't have a lot of time to throw it out there. I mean, that's about as good of a look as I think you could have asked for from the quarterback there, beyond just a truly spectacular throw. I mean, the receiver's not open when he lets go of this ball. I mean, that's That's more impressive to me than a lot of his incompletions in this game, than a lot of his completions, rather. Then 4th and 6, game on the line. I think this is his best drop back of the game. I really do, because he starts by reading a similar concept that we've seen all game, the out and up, out of kind of a stacked alignment. But I think if nothing else, he's recognizing that it wasn't there. I mean, how many times this game have I said, it's not there, look elsewhere? He actually does that here in the biggest moment. So that's, as we look towards the college playoffs, that's something to look at, is like, is he progressing beyond that first read when it's not there? And instead of just doing these safe throwaways, are you going to find something else? He has no option on this play. He can't go with a safe throwaway. He has to find someone open. It's 4th down. The game's on the line. So he comes backside. It's man coverage, which he may know or may not know. But you go to the backside. In the middle of the field's wide open and throws a strike to move the chains. That's his best overall NFL quarterbacking play of the game. I just wish we had seen a little bit more of this throughout the course of the game. And by the way, we're right back to them trailing. They must have fumbled or something, because they were down here at the same score. So they must have fumbled or something, because it's not in the cut-up. But more high-pressure, high-leverage situation stuff. Okay. Another slot fade. It's not really there. I don't know about that one, you guys. I mean, he's forcing a slot fade against 2-man. This is cover 2-man, and he's throwing a slot fade that was not really open. Pressure gets in. Again, he's not really scrambling or anything. I mean, I don't know what 33's doing, you guys. To me, that's a turnover-worthy play that he got away with. You can disagree with my analysis if you want, but I think that's not reading the coverage. Hadn't seen a lot of man coverage in this game. Kind of staring him down the whole way. That's where he was going the whole time, and he just forces it. I mean, come on, man. Yeah, you get the completion out of it, and your accuracy's great. Like, if you're going to make that decision, it's about as great as a spot you could have put it. But what the hell is 33 doing? I would say that's a highly negatively graded play by Michael Penix. I hate pretty much everything about this. I don't like his pocket movement. I don't like the decision. I like the throw. But that should have been an interception and the end of the game. Then we've got identical touchdown to the one we saw earlier, where they have the kind of like screen element against single high coverage, but Penix elects for the back shoulder fade to Odunze. Beautiful throw, beautiful catch. A similar analysis where it's like not a whole lot going on in terms of reading the defense. He gets single high. He likes the matchup one-on-one to his first round receiver. Beautiful back shoulder, excellent body control, beautiful placement. I mean, if the walk away from this video is accuracy, does not feel like it's going to be an issue for Michael Penix Jr. But overall, I'm just being honest, I'm really not impressed. This is the first guy we've done in this series that I really just don't see a first-round quarterback prospect. I am actually a little bit worried about his processing. I think he's late on a lot of throws. We saw the forced ball into double coverage. I don't think for a 6-year college football player, he's really reading safeties or making decisions based on the coverage a whole lot. They drew up some great coverage beaters where the first read was working, but I would put that more on the coaching than on him. Now, he's got a really good arm. He's got great velocity. He's got incredible ball placement. Those things will work to a degree at the NFL level. But maybe the biggest concern is just the overall lack of extension ability. If it wasn't there, there was one play in this game where he really made something out of it, got to his backside read, and that was a huge play in the game, and you love that clutch element. But at the same time, basically as one of his next dropbacks, he tried to throw the ball away, just forcing it into double coverage. If I had to give you a pro comp for what I see right now, it's At best, Ryan Tannehill, more reasonably, more like Jacoby Brissett, probably. A guy that doesn't really move a whole lot, has a great arm, is really accurate, but not really dissecting defenses at a high degree, and certainly not bringing a lot to the table in terms of being a surgeon. So, again, I will watch more, especially with the college football playoffs. I would love to see him, as the season, this is only week 7, so maybe as the season goes on, things get sharper, and he's making faster decisions, getting the ball out more on those kind of the quick game concepts, the out routes and the stop routes, but especially like the play extension stuff. And hell, CJ Stroud last year had moments like this in his regular season, and then went and balled out against Georgia in the college football playoffs and was doing a bunch of different stuff, and has brought that to the next level. So I'm not trying to write Penix off. This is a first look video. Still a lot to go in terms of grading him and saying where he should go and all that. But in terms of first impressions, I'm much more discouraged by Michael Penix than I am encouraged, especially considering he's a 6th-year player, right? So those are just my honest opinions. Expected more. But there's still more to watch. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I think we've got still JJ McCarthy has to declare. If he declares, I will do one on him. Otherwise, I think we're probably good in terms of the top quarterback prospects for the quarterback first looks. But let me know if there's other players you want to see, and certainly subscribe, because we've got plenty more draft content coming your way, position rankings, mock drafts, you name it. Appreciate you guys for watching. Please do hit that like button on the way out. We'll see you later.